leading the clean energy revolution. In the UK, a clean energy revolution is quietly transforming the way we power our lives. From wind and solar to tidal energy, innovative technologies are replacing fossil fuels, driven by the urgent need to combat climate change. Across the nation, communities and businesses are embracing this shift towards a greener way of producing energy. Join Executive TV in today's programme as we explore the key innovations and impacts of the UK's journey to a greener future, with insight from leading companies. Vexo International specialises in HVAC protection and sustainable innovation, and is dedicated to mitigating global warming by providing long-term, efficient solutions.
Not just a manufacturer of products. We're on a journey. And we've been on a journey since the very beginning, 2009. I tell our customers sometimes when I sit down with them, we were green before it was fashionable to be green, and we're very passionate about that. I personally wrote a hypothesis in 2018 that's now been used at Loughborough University for studies for PhD and masters to grab data that no one's ever grabbed before, because we can see that actually changing things, doing things slightly different can have a big impact on the carbon emissions and life cycle. Our products help clients become more sustainable by really addressing energy conservation. So actually using less energy, using it more wisely. And that's going to help when they come to convert away from gas and onto, no doubt, some form of electrification. I think hydrogen will have its place, but I think, understanding the voices within industry, it's electrification. So our products will help customers get ready by reducing their energy, which in turn reduces their carbon emissions in any case, making things last longer. So that helps protect our customers when it comes to measuring their embodied carbon or operational carbon use. And as I say, ultimately with power, electrical consumption.
Hemet is one of the UK's leading composite insulated panel manufacturers, with over 90 years of experience in the industry.
Hemet manufacturing started in 1928. We've got more involved in the built environment, and we have a secondary product that looks to build effectively flat pack housing. We like to think that people choose Hemet because we have a modest pedigree. I think we've been in this industry for a long time, and whilst we've been at the cutting edge in various incarnations, we know what we do here, and I think there's a consistency and a surety about us. What we're trying to do now is elevate from that position and look at our business differently. It's an evolution of Hemet based on a very consistent and level-headed approach to how we produce our products.
GES Group is a leading electrical and mechanical engineering business dedicated to advancing clean energy technologies and serving customers across Ireland, the UK and beyond.
So the company dates back some 75 years into the 1940s, but the company back then didn't look like how it does now. In 1977, it kind of changed format, and we concentrated on electrical motors from that point on. And then through the development from 1977 to now, we've added to the company and grown through acquisition of other companies. We started with rotational machines and rewinding. We put on an electrical installation team to support that. And then to support that further, we added a panel division and switchgear to build motor control centres for the motors that we were selling. And then as systems have got a wee bit more elaborate, that's helped to develop our PLC automation and control side.
Being sustainable is crucial for preserving the environment, securing economic stability, and improving quality of life globally, despite some of the challenges that come with it.
The sustainability of any business in this modern age is important to remain competitive and achieve efficiency. We have a programme of sustainability which runs over the next 5 years. So we have a 5-year plan which we run an ESG programme, which is Scope 1, 2 and 3. We are hoping to achieve B Corp status, which is leading into B Corp out of ESG. It's run by a compliance team in GES, which is important. Not only we have for our own sustainability, but passing sustainability on to our clients, our supply chain, our partners and stakeholders alike. So it's very much a joined up approach.
I think sustainability for the engineering industry is really a win-win situation because we're very dependent on gas and before that coal and oil. Renewables offer a completely different method for a generation. Hopefully in the future cheaper, certainly greener, and certainly for the next generation coming along behind us, we're leaving a better atmosphere, we're leaving everything good for these people coming behind us.
We have a target set by government for 80% by 2030. Considering it's taken about 25 years to get to 45%, we have another 6 years to get another 35%. So while that's the problem, it's a great opportunity for companies like ourselves.
I think the government needs to not just talk about sustainability, it needs to celebrate and champion people who are making a difference. I think it needs to look at different ways of building things, not just housing, but whatever else it is we build in this country. Let's look at having a different agenda. Let's create the order books for businesses. Let's drive the fundamental sustainability of the UK. That's what we're trying to do, I think, without getting political. It's about what is the UK moving forward? What's our purpose in the wider world these days? And what innovations and messages can we be putting out there to the rest of Europe and the rest of the world? It's still a relatively new industry, sustainability, ESG. It's about having a purpose-led agenda. I think if you care, then you're halfway to being sustainable.
We're finding there's a lot more appetite for it in the market now, and people are a lot more sustainably focused than they used to be. We're doing that anyway as a business. We're going through our B Corp journey and making sure that we're taking our responsibilities in that area seriously. But we are finding that the customers are starting to ask us questions about how sustainable we are and how sustainable our supply chain is as well.
I think the biggest challenge with being sustainable is the cost. If you want to have a very positive agenda and do things, it costs you more to do it. And I think you have to factor that in. We now have an agenda where we push our suppliers for as much reusable content as we can. But again, I'm getting an awful lot of pushback on that because they perceive the demand of that is not high enough for them to invest. We believe that by asking the difficult questions around our chemical suppliers, we can affect more change rather than trying to do something that's completely irrelevant to our industry. The major chemical suppliers have ESG agendas. I know they do. They are using tentatively new innovative products, biomaterials, as an alternative to oil and gas. We are, unfortunately, in a plastics industry. We create polyurethane, good, bad, and indifferently. It's still the best insulator in the world. There are biomaterials out there that just aren't really as good yet. But if we can address polyurethanes and plastics as a finite industry and start to repurpose these things, then I think we're in a far better position to make some change because we're in that industry. I'm not just looking at it from the side and bemoaning it. We are taking responsibility for our own actions.
Sustainability to Vexo means an array of things ultimately. It's about, first of all, mindset and thinking differently, first of all, rather than just coining the term be sustainable. And that could be anything. And the team, we have recycling at the office. We have measures on our travel. We get asked, we have get-togethers and everyone has to put down, their behaviours, and it makes people think about, for example, do I need that face-to-face meeting or can I do this on a Teams call? Because actually there's a saving in carbon if we're not getting in the car, or obviously you can catch the train. We promote that as much as we can. Even down to in our office we have solar PV, we have air source heat pumps. We moved into the office, the landlord had electric 1 kilowatt in, 1 kilowatt out storage heaters essentially. And we took an extra cost that we said we wanted to fit an air source, set of air source heat pumps as well. But sustainability goes as far as even the products as well. So looking at the packaging, we're an ISO 14001 company, but there's always work to be done.
Sustainability goes beyond just the environment. Companies place a particular focus on the health, safety and training of their employees.
The importance of a sustainable workforce and protecting the workers is twofold really. So first of all, having protecting a sustainable workforce means that we're on mission for us to deliver and believe and maintain our culture. Ultimately, we have to live through the words that we preach, and having and protecting the workforce. Well, that goes in hand with what we're doing and the mission that we're on, because we're looking to make sure that we can find solutions and support and mitigate the climate crisis. Extremely bad weather events that we're seeing now. and the impact that that's having. So it goes beyond just the employee, it's their families, it's the future.
When we're recruiting, I think we are a small business, and with a small business comes a real requirement for people to be really passionate and driven about their key specialism. And I think that's number one in terms of our recruiting processes, is we look for people who are really engaged and enthused within their actual remit that they're looking after, because I think there's a lot of things that you can build on over a period of time with the support from the business, but the passion side that comes with people just getting stuck in and wearing that hat of that specialism is something we initially look for in that process.
When we're recruiting now, we are looking really through a purpose-led lens. It's interesting and almost counterintuitive, but the content of what somebody brings is less relevant than how they can market themselves and what they are as a resilient human being. I'm looking for values-based people who care, people who understand that their role needs to grow and adapt and morph. So I'm looking for flexibility. I need adaptability in people.
It's important for the community and well-being, and probably the human nature of business in this modern age is to retain our path of health for the community as well as employees, and for the longevity of the business. A great deal of our business, 60% of our business now is focused on renewable energy, so indirectly and directly, and the rest of the business remains on the legacy business. So it's important to support the old legacy set of energy solutions and transition across. So it's important that everybody is on that path or understands the knowledge transfer to getting to that point, and the fiscal challenges that come alongside are aligned with that path ahead.
So skills training is needed for emerging technologies such as renewables, Internet of Things, AI and automation. So we need more training programs for these, and perhaps more funding and grants for them to make them more accessible for people, and maybe more awareness and just to drive younger people into the field. Also for existing engineers, provide more courses and training on these new technologies and make these more accessible for them so that they can upskill and continually develop.
For us to train and develop and upskill our employees, we offer a very strategic approach by offering upskilling to all employees. We listen to our employees and what their training requirements are. We develop in-house training, and we also stay ahead of industry trends and what's going on with technological advancements to encourage growth and to make sure that we're staying up to date with trends.
Companies are consistently producing innovative products to advance green energy production and contribute to a sustainable future.
So as manufacturers, what we're trying to do is create consistency. The idea is that it's pretty boring if we get it right, so that the same things are happening time and time again. So it's about consistency. So it's all about measuring differences, temperature, timings, watching the foam. The foam needs to be consistent. The raw material of the facings needs to be the same. So the idea is that we measure for consistency purposes all of the time. We have regular intervals through our production days where we pull panels out and we interrogate them. We look at sizing, we look at the thermal performance, we look at the makeup of the foam, we're looking at the consistency of the facings. We're only as good as the panels we produce, and they have to adhere to the British and European standards, but we try and go beyond that. So we're constantly testing the performance of our product, and it's there to be as higher quality as we possibly get.
Some of the main challenges that would come when installing our products, it varies from product to product. So if I was to say, with the X-Pot, some challenges are there the connections, or we call them the stabbings, connections in a plant room where you can go and connect to. New systems, it's not a problem, but for older systems, you don't always have those connections. But I still say that it's very flexible where you can retrofit it. For our YMAG product, our inline strainer with a magnet, the challenge will come if it's an existing system, unless you're cutting pipe work and you're going to install it. But for new installations, there really are no challenges. I mean, it's something that's familiar within industry, installing a strainer. The biggest challenge we have with our system is going to be a combination of, if the customer decides they want to have it connected to the IT infrastructure or the broadband, that can come with various protocols and that can take time, but we have a 4G solution which overcomes that. If it's the IoT devices, the wireless devices, I would say that the challenge there more than anything is actually the timing of when that happens, because you have to have the heating shut down. So you have a smaller window of getting orders, getting your purchase orders from the customer and then getting the installation done before that heating season starts again. So that's probably the challenge with the IoT devices.
At the design stage on the shop floor, we assist our clients by modifying their machines. We can make older machines run more efficiently than they used to run, saving them money. We can put on energy monitors which have a look at how the machine actually operates and how the usage of the machine. So if a machine isn't being used 100% of the time, we can fit sort of electronic drives in the machine which can slow it down, and when it's not being in use they save energy. We specialise, in this shop we specialise in wind. We also do solar, hydro and biogas. So all of these plants have specialist generators attached to them, all driven by different means. So we install the units for them, we service them, and for the wind turbines, we re-engineer the wind turbines for a better performance. In other words, we call it optimization.
Innovation plays a pivotal role in driving progress and sustainability within the energy industry forward, enabling advancements that enhance efficiency, affordability, and environmental responsibility.
There's technologies out there for predictive maintenance, such as condition monitoring, so we can monitor the asset, its condition and at what stage it's at of its life cycle. We can, with condition monitoring, look at factors like overheating.
Predictive maintenance, and as opposed to preventive maintenance, where preventive maintenance, people used to take machines out every year and they took them out whether they really needed to come out or not. So predictive maintenance lets them know which machines should come out at a certain time. So instead of taking all the plant down at one time for an annual service, they may only have to take 1 or 2 machines out. This is on a trended basis, and it's usually vibration analysis and motor monitoring which tells them which ones to take out.
Innovation is key because it hopefully helps us create new solutions. I think that's what this industry needs. It needs an ability to understand where its limitations are. I don't think we build enough houses in this country. I think there's been a shortfall of housing stock for a number of years, for various reasons. What you've got now, though, is a growing group of people who are innovative and are creating different products that can look to build the shortfall of UK housing. And I think that's what people need to be tapping into, really, is look at the innovators. There's still a market for the way we've traditionally built houses in this country. That market is still there and it's valid. People like me and organisations like ours are there to help complement that. And I think that's where our innovation in this country works. You've got a lot of people in this country that are doing innovative things, and they need to be given a chance because it's complementary. It's not there to take over the world. There's enough out there if we build what we should be building for everybody. Just look at things differently. And if we build with a high performance agenda front and centre, then we're all going to get better dwellings in this country.
Dealing with people not trusting of new technologies is about making it as simple and straightforward and stress-free as you can for them. So it's about protecting the customer. Anecdotally, I can give you an example. We had a customer site, a huge project for us, and we were essentially pioneering some of this new technology, and it came with its challenges, but the customer didn't see that. We took that on. We took the analogy of a swan, peaceful on the surface, but kicking really hard underneath, and that was very much that project. But there was a huge amount of learning for us. So we learned so much from that, not just from process, but also product development and improvement back to the manufacturer of some of the specialist equipment that we happen to be using for the first time. It's really about shielding the customer from the problems. Other ways and other solutions are also bringing them in as a stakeholder. I'm really excited to see what new innovations come within the sector. I think obviously with the, with the transition that we've seen with artificial intelligence, is speeding up many things in various industries. So it's going to be very interesting, but I do see innovations coming from off the back of a lot of digital modelling that's happening now within our industry, digital twin of buildings. People can now start to try different things without the cost they normally would have done by building them. You can do them, digitally. So I think that's going to breed a lot of new innovation from different manufacturers within our sector, essentially, whether it be from water conservation, water recycling, down to less installation of mechanical equipment in buildings, going back to some basics like the Greeks and people like that many years ago used. I'm really excited by what that means and how we can be more responsible in terms of sustainability and the types of products and how they're made.
The future of companies in green energy is poised for dynamic growth, driven by ongoing innovations that push the boundaries of sustainable technology and practices.
The way Vexo is looking to develop in the next few years is going to be quite some journey at quite some pace. And everything that we're doing and we plan to do all contributes to the mission that we're on. So I'm very excited, but I can't go into too much detail other than that. But yeah, watch this space. So one development in industry that I can talk about that we're really excited about at Vexo comes back to some studies at a university, PhD studies. The second PhD student is now developing our predictor model tool for engineers to use, which means that when engineers are selecting pipe work and equipment to go into a heating or cooling system, this predictor model will guide them on what materials they select, the impact that can have based on water quality, so the risk factor, let's say. And so that will help predict the life cycle, ultimately. So if an engineer wants to mitigate risk, they're better informed when they talk to the architect to say, look, there's a budget, but actually I think that trying to cut back in this area isn't good, we should do this. And also it's going to drive good preventative plan maintenance as well as part of that tool. So we're really excited by that, simply because it's educating people, and we've collaborated. So it just demonstrates, again, we don't just talk it, we walk it. And so yeah, really looking forward to when the predictor tool comes out to the market.
We live in a world of sustainability, and people are obviously aware and want to look after the climate around them, and not only the climate, but the people that work for them. And if they can create that sustainable, nice working environment, we're there to support them with our services.
Particularly in Northern Ireland, we have our major concern is not just the retention of staff, but obtaining technology through engineering with apprenticeships. So apprenticeships nowadays there's more demand than there is supply, and the problem we have there is getting the resource to take the technicians through their 5-year programme. There's certainly a desire with our colleges elsewhere in Northern Ireland and not south of Ireland. Our business operates in Europe as well as the UK. So the legislation is very similar throughout most of the UK, but slightly different approach. So the engineering background of apprenticeships changes from Dublin to here in Belfast or perhaps London. So yeah, the programme we run is a 5-year programme, and that's not always synchronised throughout the whole of UK.
The start of our sustainability journey, aside from the specifics of B Corp, really was saying, what are we doing? Why are we doing things the way we do it? Why are we all here on a Monday morning? What's going on? And I think if you start with what is your purpose as an organisation, it's hard, because it's hard to find what really floats your boat sometimes and how you can affect change. But even if it's small, the fact that you're doing something, but if you ask your colleagues in your organisation what it is they want you to be, you'll be very pleasantly surprised. And I think that can drive who you are as a business. Again, PLCs, shareholder-based organisations have different agendas, but again, shareholders are people. People have, I believe, maybe naively, that people care. And if people care, then people can affect change.
As we look ahead, the green energy revolution and change to sustainable practices and technologies in the energy sector promises not only environmental benefits, but also economic opportunities.